up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
Good morning. How's everybody feeling? Juice-a-mania?
It's afternoon here, and I'm feeling pretty good. How was your weekend? What did you do? What did you get
Weekend has been intense. I finally have a day off. I'm so pumped. I was, let's see, where did it start? I was in Wednesday. I did a corporate party.
into?
It went really well. It was a little bit older corporate party. So, and, you know, they were feeling some 90s and whatnot. It's fun. Did that. Then Thursday, did a quick little jump to see some friends in Phoenix. Just got drunk downtown. It's pretty fun. Then Friday, came home, DJ'd my regular club, and then Saturday had a wedding, which was really good. They were into all the rock and whatnots, you know, the emo kids.
Yeah,
And then had my Sunday at Bungalow. So yeah, it's been action packed. You?
nice. Just DJ'd the Reds games early in the week. We had a like a Reds get together Thursday for somebody that was leaving. Friday night did my norms. Saturday I actually took off because it was my wife's her dad's 50th birthday party, and we had like a birthday party for him, and it was action packed. We golfed all day Saturday. Then we it was an 80s hair metal themed party, and we got a
Saw
party
the
bus
pictures.
for it. Yeah, we got a party bus. The party bus broke down in the street right in front of their driveway, and we couldn't get on the party bus. And the party bus was supposed to pick us up at 8:30, which it was there at 8:30, and it wasn't moving. And then they were supposed to drop us off at 10 at a casino around here that had a this 80s hair like cover hair metal band playing that her dad's like wanted to see for a long time. And
You just wanted to see the cover band?
yeah, they're like somewhat big, I guess.
Okay.
Like a bigger cover band for this. But
Is
so
it just like the
finally-
whole genre or a specific band?
Yeah, it was more like just everything, like 80s rock, I would say, in like very early 90s. And then you know, the party bus, we had to like get Ubers there because they were like, the next bus we could get you here is at like 10. And we were like, well, we were supposed to be out where we're going at 10. So we finally get to the casino right around probably 10 by the time we figured out rides and all that. And only to be there for like an hour, and then they kicked our whole group of like 35 people out. So that was fun.
Hair metal was all about party rocking,
I
being
guess.
crazy.
It was funny because like I think I had 3 drinks like from the time we left the house until like we got kicked out at the casino. So and then like 10 of the like 35 people we were with didn't even drink. So I don't really know what happened, but they were just like, all you in the costumes gotta go. And they had like, I don't know, it was bizarre, but
You're having a little too much fun here. It's like a mall security with this flashlight.
right.
Yeah.
Her dad was like, I think it was a great 50th birthday party. The bus broke down. We got kicked out. So
There you go.
that was the weekend. Good times. Before we get into any more, real quick, we just want to mention some sponsors. If you haven't used the promo code Drew and Fuse Show, it'll get you 30% off your first month at Direct Music Service. So if you haven't checked that out yet and you want to, you can use that promo code. And like I said, it'll get you 30% off your first month. Also, we have the Crate Hackers that we're on once a month. If you haven't joined us on one of the hackathons that happens once a month, every Tuesday.
The last week of the last month, the last Tuesday of the month.
Right. So yeah, we're on there doing that. The last couple times we've like reviewed people's playlist or set list and or done like songs that are working for us, and we just talk music and we try to help DJs that might be in a rut get into a little bit of a better spot.
Yep.
Let's get into today's guest. To tell you a little bit about him, he's a 3-time Red Bull 3-style regional champ. He was a finalist on VH1's Master of the Mix. He's held residencies in Los Angeles, Reno, St. Louis, Chicago, Singapore, and more. He's a brand ambassador and DJ instructor for the Beat Junkies. We think he's sponsored by Reloop, but we don't actually know. We're gonna ask him that when he comes on. But help us welcome DJ Dynamix.
What's up, you guys?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. I love the theme song and everything in the beginning. It's just like,
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
how long did it take you guys to put together?
One of our buddies actually wrote and recorded it all from scratch, and yeah, we just sent it to him, and we just sent him some ideas, and he came up with it. It was pretty funny. So
Yeah,
it worked right. First one, we just went with it. That's the best stuff.
That's it, man. Can't overthink it. Just gotta go with it, like as it comes in. When it's all natural, take that first take and let it ride.
That's it. That's right.
Yeah, man.
Well, you're busy. You're always busy. It always seems like you're going somewhere, you're playing somewhere. At least on socials and all this stuff. We wanted to talk kind of to get things started about you've been teaching the kids.
Yeah, I've been teaching for a minute, man. I started my teaching career at Scratch actually when they opened up in LA, and that was back in like 2005 or something. I want to say like that. So just, man, almost 20 years of just teaching DJing now.
Were you a teacher before that, or?
No, not even, man. I didn't even expect to do that. It kind of just fell on my lap, and that's back when Hopper was still running it at the time, and he was just like, "Yo, we're opening up Scratching here in LA. Would you want to like try and put together the Scratching curriculum?" And I was like, "Sure." You know what I mean? And yeah, we launched it, and it was a lot of fun. It was like that, and that in itself opened up a lot of doors for me. So yeah, it was just kind of like a,
because 05 is like Serato's like just barely coming out. So you're teaching all vinyl.
Yeah, we were at that time. Yeah, we were just teaching vinyl, and I mean, for me, I was just teaching the Scratching class, so of course it's going to be better on vinyl than it would be on Serato, especially at that time.
Right.
So it just worked out.
And now you teach for the Beat Junkies?
Yeah, which, man, it's like everything came full circle, because when I first started DJing, I had like Beat Junkies and Scratch Pickles, like videotapes, like VHS tapes. Dang, that really dates me right there. But that's what I was doing. I was like watching those tapes. That's how I learned how to DJ. That's how I learned how to scratch. And so now to come full circle and be teaching alongside them at the school and online, it's crazy.
Yeah.
How many like classes are you teaching a week, whether it's online or at the school?
Now I'm doing the online part, and it's once every 2 weeks. So me and Shortcut, we switch off every Friday. Yeah, and that'll be from like 3 to 4 Pacific time.
And you're making up your own curriculum for that?
Yeah, so like for the online classes, it's more like, all right, here's our warm up, and then we kind of pick a topic, and then yeah, that's it. Kind of make an hour class out of it. I mean, sometimes it'll be reviews of previous material. Sometimes it's just like, oh, there's a challenge coming up, and then I'll focus on kind of like getting them ready for the challenge or something like that.
It's funny you say those old videotapes is what I kind of started watching. It was like the Craze video, and just a bunch of those old any video you could get your hands on. It was like how you were learning how to DJ.
Yeah, because they were out in limited quantities too, especially like if you had a full collection of all the what was the one that Cuber put out, like turntable TVs. Oh man, that was the best, because like they would have skits in there on top of having like scratch tutorials, but it was just like a lot of fun comedic stuff.
Yeah,
and that's the best way to learn. You know what I mean? You don't want to be too serious. You want to have fun while you're learning. So that was great. at the time. Yeah.
And then, are you sponsored by Reloop? We saw when we were just putting some stuff together that they had like your bio and all that on the Reloop website.
Yeah. So what happened was, I like doing videos on like tiny controllers, right? And then I
Yeah.
saw Angelo's video on the Reloop Ready where he like does Zelda and he's like flipping and doing tone play with like Notorious B.I.G.'s Juicy. And I was just like, man, that thing looks super duper dope. Like looks like it has crazy functionality. So I hit him up about it. And then he put me in touch with Reloop. And then I started working with Reloop, and then I became part of the team Reloop, and started doing like conventions with them, started doing some videos for them. But they've been a really supportive company to work with, and they're dope because they're always on the cutting edge of things, and they really take your input. And yeah.
So that's the one that works with the laptop, right? It's not the phone one.
It works with both. I did the video, so I also got tapped to do a video for the launch of Algorithm DJ 5.0, I think is what the newest one is. And he's like, yo, what do you want to, you can do it on the Rev 7, or you can do it on this, do it on that. And I was like, no, I want to do it on the Ready. You know what I mean? Just because like it's already supposed to be like a compact thing. I'd rather do it on the smallest setup possible and then do the crazy shit. So DJ'd off the phone, plugged it into the controller, and then just went off that. But yeah, no, it works great with Serato as well. Like just plugging it into my laptop, and that was the beauty of it. Like I could just sit it on top of my keyboard, and I can get all my ideas out. Like it has all the functionality. I could do stems on there. I could do pitch play on there. I could do Serato flips on, like everything that I can do on a normal setup. I could do on the Reloop Ready, except the toughest thing to do on there is juggling, of course, right? Because it's on stationary platters. There's no visual marker, like it makes it tough. But seeing cats like what's his name, I think he's out of France, Touchdown, like when he's doing his flips, even if it's on turntables or if it's on a controller, like he's doing juggles with the cue points. And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could do something like that for the Ready. And I was able to do a video on the plane doing some juggles on the Ready using cue point techniques also.
I bought the Ready. It is a dope controller. I actually just leave it in my car for a backup in case shit hits the fan for like my weddings. The one thing I think I realized this when I actually had to use it was I don't have the proper cabling for it, because you need RCAs, and I'm like, I don't even have RCAs, so I have this backup that's like almost unusable. So I need to basically you need like RCAs to XLRs, right?
Yeah, or at least RCAs to 1/4 inches, right? But ideally, you would want RCAs to XLRs, yeah.
At least to be able to get into the speaker, I guess is why I'd say.
Yeah, or plug into like, let's say if the tone arm on the turntable doesn't work, just plug that into the mixer, RCA to RCA, plug it to the aux in or something like that. Or the same thing with the controller or any other setup. Kind of just go off of the main outs of the better equipment, if that works, and then do it that way, or go into a mixing board, something like that.
Right. We always loved your videos that are you on the plane. I've always wanted to ask, how do you set that up? Are you doing it after the plane takes off, before the plane takes off, or just because the planes are so tight? I'm like, how does he get the camera set up with the person next to him?
So, well, first of all, I'll warn them, right? Like, hey guys, sorry, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna be filming a video over here. The most that you're gonna hear is just a bunch of clicks from this side. If that annoys you, just let me know. You know what I mean? Because everything else, all the audio is just going through headphones. So I'm usually wearing headphones on there. And then a lot of the times when I am filming, I'm either in the exit row, and then I'm just using the extra whatever, because there's no seat in front of me if I have that seat, right? If you see the front view, it's because I have no seat in front of me. If you see the side view, it's because I didn't get that seat or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I'm making the routine on the plane, and I'm practicing
Crazy.
it on the plane. So I'm either in the air, or there's been a few times where it's like we already landed and I didn't get to film it while we were in the air. So as people are getting off the plane, then I'll try to knock it out right then and there. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, Drew. What do you want to get into
Well,
next year?
actually, what I wanted to ask, 'cause this all comes full circle to what I wanted to ask here, we were kind of setting up, is it's a question we've been asking a lot of people, is just the future of DJing. And you've really embraced, with teaching the kids
Yeah.
and, with the controllerism, you're really embracing the future. And I think so many people are scared of it. And so, I just want to see your opinion on, where it could go and where maybe people need to stop being scared and start, taking advantage of some of these tricks and tools.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you don't want to be left out in the cold, right? When whatever you're doing becomes obsolete. Not to say that turntables are going to be obsolete or anything like that, but like for me, I personally like DJing on controllers or on like a digital format because there's way less variables, right? I don't have to worry about showing up to the club and the tone arm isn't working, or my needle is way too dusty and then it's not reading the needle correctly, or my phase isn't working correctly, or X, Y, and Z, right? There's so many things that can go wrong. I'd rather eliminate all of those variables and just have everything right at my fingertips, right? So that's why for me, my favorite way of DJing is on a controller, especially on the SRT, because the SRT has the best markers out of any controller, right? Because it's the one that mimics the screen that's on Serato. And so those marks are always going to be on point. I never have to reset where my marker needs to be. It's always going to be at 12 o'clock when it's at a key like hot cue or something like that. So as long as my hot cues aren't too close together, like it won't keep resetting, right? And it'll just act as if I have a sticker on a record. And and it helps every single time. Like it'll be just right on point. It helps me be a lot more precise and do
More than any of the revs, it's more on point than the Rev 7 or the Rev 5.
Yeah, because the Rev 7 still has a delay, right? It acts like a turntable too. So if I'm putting a sticker on the platter, I'll have to pull it to 12 o'clock or wherever I want it to be, and then I have to hit the cue point. Whereas I don't have to do any of that with a SRT. It just sets it at 12 as soon as it hits a cue point. You know what I'm saying? And then if I want to use a digital marker on the Rev 7, there's a delay. Right. And that's with a lot of the other controls, even in the Pioneer lineup. Like there's no other controller. Well, I take that back because I think the Flex 10 has the same markers as the SRT. But I just got used to the SRT and I like using it. But I think those are the only two that have those kind of marks where I can juggle. You know what I mean? Then I can like totally just do everything that I would do on turntables on a controller, and then I don't have to worry about dusty needles. I don't have to worry about anything jumping like that. I just do what it is that I want to do and get across, and we're off to the races.
So where do you see, like, we were talking at NAM, and that algorithm DJ is you're able to DJ on a phone, and they have that now, but they also have, I see so many kids coming up on turntables, or at least being able to use the new Pioneer without all that. So with all these innovations, where do you see the DJing going?
Man, there's so many directions that I can go too, because just being able to DJ off of your phone and DJ off of your, iPad or something like that, and it being on point, like it just makes it more accessible to more people. And then you'll start to get like outside ideas other than like what we came up with, right? Because then you have a whole different perspective on what you can do and things that you can add and ways to implement the technology. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how the next generation is going to utilize this technology. The new Cross 12s are super duper dope because like it's like a perfect marriage between like a Rain 12 and a Technics 1200, right? And then you don't even need phase, like everything's built in, and it makes it a lot easier, right? So Uh, I mean,
Well,
no, it's just gonna be more accessible, and then you'll have these awesome ideas coming from these outsiders and new cats coming into the game.
yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot about it. I'm just wondering. I mean, you're teaching everybody, so what you're seeing with the kids, right? Are you seeing
Yeah.
they're hungry and they want to like learn and take it to a new level? That's kind of what I'm asking. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't been teaching a lot of the kid classes. Most of the
Okay.
time, a lot of the students that I have are already established DJs that kind of want to take their game to the next level or something like that. You know what I mean? But um they're usually adults that want to learn, or sometimes I'll get like a high school kid, but like or like fresh out of high school, just about to graduate. Like when I started, I was 14, 15. So like that whole time during your high school years, like you have no responsibilities, you have like nothing but time to practice and get
Right.
everything in. Um, so the younger students definitely learn a lot faster. They pick up a lot faster. Well, what I was seeing, because I taught in 4 different schools, what I was seeing is like the cats that are really into more of the electronic music and EDM stuff. They're like more focused on effects, right? And how the sounds sound together and like ways that they can manipulate sound. Rather, when you're doing like open format and stuff like that, then we start focusing on scratching and how to do blends and all this different stuff. So it's just interesting seeing different perspectives and how they use the equipment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Practicing air hearts and hands up and that kind of
yeah. I
stuff.
feel like the EDM guys that practice a lot more of the effects, right? Or
Right.
how to use the reverb, how to like tweak all
Right.
that
Right.
stuff and use those in the transitions.
I don't even
Yeah.
think I know how to use them because I'm just used to, not used to. I expect to play on a different mixer every time I go play. Uh,
Gotcha.
every venue has something different, and so I just kind of took that out of my arsenal so that I don't have to rely on something when I get somewhere.
Dang. So you have to play on different equipment every time. Like, what was the worst setup that you had to play on?
Oh man. Um,
You have to
uh,
play like a rotary mixer and do like
you
a
know, when I first started doing clubs, it was just like that 800. Like I,
right.
I was, I didn't know that mixer at all, and so I was using the 57, and I even had a 909 before that.
Yeah.
Well, even I mean some of the new marks and some of those crappier mixers, but yeah, that 800 was just kind of it's not bad. Obviously, it's a great mixer. I just didn't fuck with the effects, you know, because it was
Yeah.
always somewhere different.
Gotta twist that knob. Yeah.
Get the timing right on it, hit the
Yeah.
BPM and get it all dialed in. And then I never owned one to practice at home. So if I get to the club, it's like I didn't want to just fuck with it mid set.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
How often right now are you DJing or gigging out? How many times a week?
Yeah. So this year, I mean, even before, like I wasn't DJing like heavily, like 4 or 5 times a week or something like that.
Right.
I'd always be like once or twice a week, and I kind of like that balance because it was like, all right, cool, I'll be gone for the weekend, but then I'll be home, and then I can just kind of work on other things. You know what I mean? And it was like the perfect balance for me, especially like now I got 3 kids and I'm married, so like being able to take them to school and do all that stuff, like I love that. So the most I've ever been away is if I have to go do stuff abroad. If I have to go to Asia, then I'm gone for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at most. Um, but now I'm trying to dial it back even further and work on more like corporate wedding, like private event kind of things. Cause like I feel like the budgets at nightclubs aren't what they used to be. And so rather than spend my time over there and then get this check, I'd rather do these other events, get the bigger check, and just be able to chill at home. You know what I mean? I don't have to work that much. Just need to get to a certain point and then
Right.
pull out from there. Yeah. Because I do value that like work-life balance. So
Right.
and I like to play golf too, right? If you like
Yeah.
right before this, we were over at the Top Tracer range and we knocked out like 2 hours over there just playing different games and working on my accuracy and stuff like that. But
Nice. Yeah, this past weekend was the first time I have golfed in like a year, probably. But that
Dude.
was probably the first time I had taken off and stayed in town. Like any other time I've taken off on a weekend, it was to travel or something.
Yeah.
So it's probably the first time I've taken off to stay in town since COVID, like on a weekend.
It's so therapeutic too, man. Like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? You're not like your face isn't buried in a computer. You're not like blasting music. I mean, sometimes if I'm doing solo runs, I'll play something in the background. You know what I mean? But just to be like out there, out in nature, sometimes just playing on my own, like
Right.
it's a nice little detachment from everything
I
else.
agree. It's like the only hobby I feel like I have that I haven't turned into like a money maker or something. So it's like the one thing that I still do that is like removes me from everything else.
Yeah, yeah. There's no like intent behind there, or you don't have to like strategize about, okay, how can I use this towards my career? You know what I mean?
Right. And I suck, so I'll probably never be able to make money from it. So it's even better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's so I mean now with like Top Golf being everywhere. Dude, we've been waiting for a Top Golf over in Southern Cali forever, man. So now that
Do you go to the one in Redondo? Was it Redondo? No, not
I,
Redondo. It's at
yeah,
Hawthorne.
right by the airport in El
Yeah,
Segundo.
yeah, Segundo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I popped in. I don't know if I played around. I think I just popped in and had a drink over there while I had business out there and I was waiting for somebody. Um, but I did play the one in Ontario, and unfortunately, Ontario doesn't have Angry Birds. And I'm like, man, like that, like one of the games that I kind of like to play. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not so serious. It's just like you're out there, you're hitting the ball. Because if you're just at a regular range and then you hit and you start like your ball starts flying everywhere, you're like, I hate this thing. It's the worst. But if you're playing something like Angry Birds where it doesn't matter where your ball goes and you're still knocking down the tower, then it's a lot less pressure. It's a lot more fun and it's a lot more relaxing, right?
I love the Angry Birds. We were playing that the last time. It's like, the score could just be some crazy number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm terrible. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even have to hit it very far. And I've crushed that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it, man.
One of the things we wanted to ask about is just you've done the Red Bull 3 style,
Yeah.
and you've done it 3 times where you've been a regional. Just kind of your time with that, and kind of anything worth talking about with that, really.
Man, I did it 5 times. So 3 times was when they were just doing regionals, right? And so I won LA and then I was able to advance to the nationals. And then the other 2 times it was just like, all right, everybody send in your demo video and top guys are just going straight to the nationals. Right. And so they cut a lot down. In the beginning, it was so much more fun. They had way more, like there was a bigger budget. You would get paid just for participating, right? So it definitely made it worth everybody's time. Not to say that it's not worth anybody's time right now, but like back then, it was just, man, every single competition, whether it's just the elimination round or the world finals, everything was an event, right? So like communication was on point. Like we would know, months in advance what's going on. Everybody would be in touch. Like there would be this whole community before you even get to the event, right? And then right when you get to the event, like the prizes were dope. Like we would get for national finals, we would get jackets. We would go on field trips. Like you would be out there for a whole like weekend. And there were
What year is this?
First year I did it was 2011, right? And that was when I think that's the year that Zach got in.
Okay.
And then they had it at Supper Club over here, and dude, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun because, like, I brought out Tone Play in the LA one, and then people never heard that before, and so I wasn't even planning on doing that in my set. Somebody told me, they're like, hey, try doing this one thing. I know you play music by ear. Why don't you try doing this thing? I heard someone else doing it, and I was like, oh yeah, I already kind of have something that's like that. Because I already had the organ donor routine in my arsenal. But they were telling me about that, and I was like, all right, cool. What if I end the organ donor routine and then go into, Pete Rock, They Reminisce Over You? And then so I pulled it off in LA, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is that? This shit is crazy." You know, my name was a trending topic on Twitter at that time, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking crazy!" Like, just the pull that Red Bull has, and like the attention that it got. It was great. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I
It was
knew
just
that.
so respected too, I feel like, by every DJ, not just like DMC guys or club
Right.
guys. Like, I feel like it was very well like, this is it, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I looked at it like, man, this is a great marketing opportunity for me to kind of like get my foot in the door in nightlife in other markets. You know what I mean? Because I was like, God, this is kind of like dope to have on your resume, but this is like, demos that I can send out. Like, hey, watch my set from Three Style, and like, get out. I can play like that at your spot or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or build with guys that are on that level of creativity and wanted to like just add all these different ideas into mixing and elevate the art form.
And speaking of that, like, how are you coming up with these sets? Are you just like over the weeks just throwing songs and be like, oh, that could be cool, and then just kind of build it from there? Or is it just, I mean, you said some of them you're even doing it on a plane, so I'm sure at this point, you could do it in your sleep, but I'm saying the early stages.
No, even the early stages, I was such a procrastinator. You know what I mean? And so, but I it's because I work well under pressure, right? If I
Yeah.
know something's kind of in the distance, I'll try to put some ideas together, but like I have to feel that fire under my ass and like, all right, it's time to get to work. Like, let's knock out these ideas. I kind of build a crate of things that I would want in my set and then try to piece ideas together from there. And then as I'm starting to put those pieces together, then other ideas are starting to come in. And then I kind of build this collection of all these mini ideas and start to try to see what pieces fit together and stuff like that. So a lot of the times it's down to that last week or two where I'm really putting the whole set together and then trying it out and then refining it and trying it out and then refining it.
Right. And then how did the master of the mix happen?
Yeah, I didn't even want to audition for that thing, to be honest. It was one of my, because like I remember the prior seasons, right? Because we were season 3, right? It was the first time it was on
Really?
VH1. There were 2 prior seasons, and like the first season, I forgot who.
I only remember watching your guys's because maybe the first 2 they just didn't really get anybody.
No, they
some
had
random people.
really dope people. It was just not as accessible because it was on like, C-level networks or something like that, or it was just on at weird hours. But they've had Revolution on there. They've had
Okay.
DJ Mars, who's like Usher's DJ, on there. There was a hell of a lot of DJs that were on there, and like, yeah, just being on that, you're kind of like part of this fraternity of DJs who were able to do that show, right? But I remember prior seasons, it was just like, oh yeah, you gotta like hold the Creative Records and run it upstairs, and then whoever runs up the stairs the fastest is like the winner. Like, yeah, that's just mad corny. But like, it was one of the homies managers that hit me, and he was like, hey man, I got you an audition for Master of the Mix. And I was like, man, I don't even want to be on the show. And he's like, just do it. Like, just show up to the audition, just do your thing. And you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't hurt, right? Like, I already got you the audition. All you got to do is show up and play. And I was like, all right, cool. So I showed up to the audition, I played, and I was able to get on the show. And it was a great experience, man. You know what I wish is that they put us all in one like big Airbnb or one house so that we could play pranks on each other. I think that would be like more entertaining.
Real world meets Master of the Mix.
Yeah, cause like imagine if we were all in a house and there was like DJ equipment everywhere and like people could
Yeah.
people could play pranks on each other. Like you could see like different shit. Like, oh fuck, I'm gonna freaking take his needle out and turn it upside down and stuff. I don't know. I think that would be really cool.
How was it set up? You were just in a.
We were all in one hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, and and then we would like kind of like we had a call time to report the set,
How many days did it record? Just like a week?
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was great, man, because like nobody knew who else was gonna be there until we showed up on set, and you couldn't really they didn't want you to talk to anybody or interact with anybody until you got to set, so they can get like genuine like interaction and like and all that good stuff. So like, man, I remember seeing ID on there. And I was like, oh shit, ID's on here. Oh fuck, Chris Carnes on here. Brian Dawes here. Oh shit, like Tina T's here. It was it was a really cool experience. And then we got to build from there. You know what I mean? So like being on a TV show with your homies and like doing the thing that you love, like nothing better than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for our season, everything was set based. So everything made sense. You know what I mean? It was just like people would complain about like the editing and like, damn, like why did they cut his set like that? Like it sounds so weird. But
I was gonna ask that. I was gonna say if you watched it back now and like the editing like fucks it up.
yeah, a little bit. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like if you have video editors that are not DJs, they're not gonna know how to fucking cut that shit and make that shit sound right. Right? It's just gonna sound like train wreck after train wreck after train wreck. But they're just trying to get whatever they think is going to get the most attention or the most engagement, I guess, from the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that it was helpful for you in your career to do that?
Yeah. Because of that, I was able to get signed to my first agency, and I was able to travel out. You know what I mean? Like, Three Style was kind of like the layup, and then Master of the Mix was just like smashing it. And then I was able to go and do things that I could only dream of prior to, you know what I mean? Without having to do that groundwork of building relationships in this market, building relationships in that market, and like, yo, I'm dope, listen to my demo kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like this was like everybody was able to see me all at once. They're like, yo, we got to get him over here. Yeah. And then it's just a matter of, all right, like hit up my agent, and then they were able to get me out there. And on top of that, they're like trying to sell me in the markets they're already established in. So that kind of made things a lot easier.
You ever think one of those shows could come back or do it again? I mean, like with all this stuff just keeps falling apart, right? Like Three Style and then this Master of the Mix. It's like such a good platform. Maybe our community is too small to really, for them to make money. Is why they just keep falling apart.
Also, who has that attention span now? Like people are really focused on like 30-second, 1-minute clips.
Right.
And imagine the budget that goes into those things that are more effective at reaching more people and spreading virally versus the budget of trying to set up a show, get people like housed and all that stuff. I don't think it would make sense in this day and age to go through all of that to get yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like the game's changed. So yeah, I don't know that a reality show is gonna
Maybe
work.
they can do like a real world of big time DJs and put Getta, Diplo, Jazzy Jeff like all in a house together for 6 weeks and see how that goes.
Yeah. Or they should like film the playlist retreat or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can kind of see what goes on behind the scenes. But I don't know. That's still very like it's a niche audience that want to see that. Like how do you make that appeal to the wide audience? I think like shit, Jersey Shore. I don't know if they anticipated for it to hit the level that it did, and for Paulie to get to the level that he got to. You know what I mean? Just off of that show, but it's shit's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think reality like it's hard for me to even watch any show at this point. You know what I mean? Unless everybody's talking about it, like, oh shoot, I gotta watch Game of Thrones. Oh, I gotta watch Breaking Bad, right? Like, and then even then, it's like you gotta binge it whenever you have time. It's not.
Right. I just started watching the new Fallout that's on. I think it's Amazon. It's like about the video game Fallout. It's pretty cool. If you're into like the game the slightest bit, and then the way it's filmed kind of reminds me of like kind of how Django was filmed a little bit. It's kind of like comic booky, but not, and like
Is it?
it's
There's
pretty
like a
neat.
movie about Jenga.
Django, like the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like kind of filmed like how Tarantino did that one.
I'm with you on the TV shows. I watch YouTube. Every time I'll start a show, I can't even finish them. You know,
Man, I don't
it
know
is
what
harder.
it is,
Get harder.
but once I hit 30, trying to sit through a movie became like pretty impossible. Like I could be in the theater watching like Avengers, and I just be knocked out by like an hour in. Like, dude, it's the most action-packed movie ever. How am I not able to stay awake? You know what I mean? But like,
For me, it's exhausting just to keep up with some of that stuff, like the Avengers or this and that. It's like you have to commit so much to like watching all of it. I don't want to do all that. Like, I just don't want to do all of it.
I got you. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I don't have the time for it.
Besides some of the places, what's that?
You guys watch sports and keep up with sports?
He does.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
do?
I mean,
Can't do it, man.
I
can be at a live game, and then
Yeah.
that's not as much attention as I can get, man. But trying to keep up is.
I keep
tough.
up with baseball because I have to. I feel like because I DJ for the Reds, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like you kind of need to know what's going on a little bit.
Yeah, that's research.
And I like it. I enjoy it. It's hard. I feel like it's hard with other sports and stuff to kind of keep up, but yeah.
You took one of your hobbies and you turned it into a job. See, it's like it just keeps happening. You can't get around it.
Yeah,
That's true.
How can I flip this to make money? That's the
Everything.
entrepreneur in it,
that's the
right?
best way to do it, because that's how you get longevity out of the game, right? Because
Yeah,
ultimately, if you get bored from it, then it's time to be out.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do DJing full time, I think you have to be multifaceted or be willing to pivot into any area.
Like I do the Fit Radio stuff too, and I know you do Fit Radio stuff as well.
Yes,
Mhm.
so fun. I love it, and that helped me get through the pandemic. You know what I mean? But now I'm like doing, and that kind of thing, like doing the Fit Radio mixes. Shit, it helps me to be home a lot more. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't have to go out and like do a bar gig. I can just do a Fit Radio mix and call it a day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then now that we're like, now it's like, hey, can you do a lounge mix? Like, yes, please. Like, I don't want to keep making these high energy like hip hop and EDM mixes. I would love to do a lounge mix. Let me just do 10 of them. I don't know what to do.
Right.
Like stuff that I don't get to play anywhere else. Like I love making these little playlists and playing them out. Shit, I'll play that in my car as I'm driving around. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. So definitely like a lot more stuff like that. And Drew, you're talking about pivoting. Like right now is like my pivot year. You know what I mean? Just turned 40, so now I'm like focusing on, all right, cool. Like, how do I stay home more, and how do I but still make more money? And what are these what are businesses that I can kind of create to where I don't have to be out, and I don't have to worry about like only having 3 hours of sleep because I got home at 3 a.m, but I got to be up at 6 because the kids are gonna wake up. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, have you figured any out? Because I need some more.
You know what's cool is working with the Crate Hackers guys like that.
Yeah.
That came up like very recently, and then now I'm working with Dom on his DJ school, Evolve DJs and
you're doing that with Ragoza?
With Ragoza, yeah. So like we've been in talks. So we're gonna be doing stuff very soon. So
amazing.
Yeah, but it's dope because that already plays into things that are already in my skill set, right? Like organizing and programming for Crate Hackers, and then teaching, for Evolve and with Ragoza and all that stuff. Like, it makes me fun, but then I'm able to reach the world being at home. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's gonna be dope having some of your crates available on there. The program, so we were working with them as well, but the program, just going through it and using the banger button and using some of the stuff, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, just to be able to have everything all in one place. You know what I mean? Your charts, even and on top of that, having like curated crates from people like, you know, ADMC, Vice, you know what I mean? You guys,
Yeah.
that stuff is awesome. Like I would love to have had that when I was coming up. It would kind of give me a broader understanding of how, you know, how to work in this scenario and works in this scenario. You know what I mean? Rather than having to go through trial and error and going and like doing shitty at the gig and then coming home like, damn, all right, well, next time I'll do this. And, you know what I mean?
Right.
Helps you be more ready for the
Instead of
job.
watching VHSs, trying to figure out what they're playing or seeing on their wall or any of that stuff. Yeah, it is pretty amazing what's available these days.
Yeah.
We're going through some of these questions, and you know, just kind of to backpedal a little bit. You were talking about traveling to Asia or just traveling in general. We always like picking other DJs and brains about what they you started doing the traveling controllerism, right? So what are some of the things that you do while you're traveling or to make your travels easier?
Well, one, I pack light. I hate checking in a bag because I don't want to take the chance that my luggage is going to get lost. So what I'll do is I'll bring a rolling duffel that fits in hand carry measurements,
Right.
and then dude, like, you know, before I even had the pocket controllers, I would bring like one of the portable turntables, and then have one of those like tiny mixers, and just kind of bring that with me to get some ideas out, or just to have something to practice cutting with or stay sharp when I'm in the hotel room. You know, just bringing like if I'm gonna be out for like 3 weeks, then I'll bring like 5 days worth of clothes, and then I'll like wash it every week or something. Like, I don't know, but I just
Yeah.
don't like traveling with hella shit. Like I'll bring maybe, you know, the shoes that I'm wearing and then another pair of sneakers. And then when I'm out there, man, I just love to explore. I use TripAdvisor whenever I'm in a new city, just to see what's around. Like even if I'm going to like the middle of nowhere and you know what I mean, it's not a tourist destination. There's still stuff to see there. There's still museums that are there, or like just go out in the park. You know, go out into the downtown area and just see what the public's
Yeah.
like. Like that was the biggest thing that I loved about traveling, is going and experiencing different cultures, or like hanging out with the locals and seeing what they enjoy doing on their spare time. You know what I mean? When I first started DJing in like Kansas, and they're like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "What do you guys do for fun?" Like, "Oh, I'm gonna go. Like, I like to go to my homie's like cornfield and like shoot shotguns." I was like, "Let's fucking go to your homie's and shoot shotguns." I don't do that shit. Like, I don't do that shit at home. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my favorite. That and still is my favorite thing about traveling, is just going to explore and experiencing that shit. Because if you're just stuck in the hotel room, like you're gonna miss out on like all these things that are around you and all these experiences. You know what I mean? So like
That's probably
luckily,
been one of the better advices we've gotten on it. Honestly, like people are always talking about little stuff, but I think the experiences is the most important. You know, if we finally are getting paid to do what we've wanted to do,
yeah.
and just sit in your hotel and not take advantage of it makes you hate it.
Yeah, and I think I'm lucky in the fact that I don't get jet lagged at all. I can go to Asia, and whatever time it's going to be in Asia, I could just kind of set myself up to either go to sleep if it's late at night, or just be wide awake for the rest of the day if I get there in the morning. You know what I mean? Like I lucked out in that I don't have to like stay in the hotel and recoup and like change my internal clock. Like I'm just fucking ready to go. So as soon as I get somewhere, then it's a matter of, all right, cool. What's around? What can I do? You know what I mean? Hit the homies up ahead of time. Like, yo, what do people like to check out over there? What can I do? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
When I got to DJ out in Ecuador, and so like I would go to like center of the world
Right.
museum and shit like that, or like, and they'd be like, yo, no one's ever asked us to like take it to any of these places. I was like, yeah, but I want to learn about your culture. I want to go eat the food. You know what I mean? All that stuff. I just want to experience that, because might as well take advantage. Like I got a free trip out here. Like
Yeah.
let me just experience this to the fullest, rather than just focus on my set, right? Like,
what's been some of your favorite places to play?
Man, Iowa City was super duper fun when I was going out there heavy because it was just like a college town. And so when doors would open at like 8 or 9, like 10 minutes later, the whole club is slammed and everybody's singing. Like, there's no time to fuck around. There's no warm up. Like, you just get in there, you start playing, they're in there, they're ready to go, and fucking hands in the air, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Reno was another favorite place of mine because I had a residency over there and they would always take care of me. But I took my first snowboarding lesson up there, and like it's 30 minutes away from the city.
Yeah.
Rather, if I'm at home, I have to drive 2 hours to get to the snow. Over there, in 30 minutes, I'm there. Like the rates are like half the price that they are here in Cali, and so it was dope. It was like the perfect balance of the city and like nature.
Right. With your background and having, been in three style and all this stuff, do you find that they're expecting either the venue or the people that come see you expecting you to do some of your routines?
Sometimes like the fans want to see it, but then, venues will hit me up ahead of time, or like management will hit me up ahead of time. They're like, "You're not just gonna routines all night, are you?" And I'm like, No. I'm totally gonna, play whatever makes people dance, make people sing along and stuff like that. And if I could sprinkle some stuff here and there for the heads that do want to see it, I'll definitely do that without taking people out of the club element. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. I get both sides of the argument because the club owners are like, we don't want you like scratching the whole time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then some of the fans are like, yo, we want to see you do some crazy shit. All right, cool. See if I can balance that out somehow. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it depends where you're going, right? If you're going out of the country, they might want that a little bit more than the local college kids that don't give a fuck about nothing. Right?
Yeah. It's true, man. But it's just a matter of filling it out. It's just like anything else, right? You show up at the gig, you put some feelers out, you see what they're into, and then if they are into that, then you start going deeper and deeper and deeper, and where that takes you. Yeah.
One of the things we like to do is crazy DJ story. We have a little segment video we'll play, and if you want to think of one kind of during this to tell us, it could be a story from a great night, a night gone horribly wrong, anything like that. So we'll play this and then we'll come back.
You're crazy. You're crazy. Crazy.
Oh my god, I had something like that happen just recently too. Like, and it was like the homegirl that was there too. It was her birthday, and she got Ella Turner. And then all of a sudden, I just see my equipment start to levitate, and I was like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" And then it like stopped midway, and then slowly came back down, and I was like, "You know what I mean?" The music didn't stop, nothing stopped. Like, but that like. With me and the homie whose party it was, and it was his equipment. Like, he fucking had a heart attack, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry." Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd cry.
Yeah, no, that shit is super duper scary. But I think the coolest thing, one of the coolest things that happened was I was home sick, right? And then I get a call. Like, "Hey, Dynamix, what are you doing?" I was like, I'm just at home, right? Like, cool. All my DJs are busy. I need somebody here for a private event. And it's for Jay-Z and Beyonce. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, all of a sudden, I'm not sick anymore. Like, I had my stepdaughter with me, and I was like, fuck, what am like, I was like, all right, I called my in-laws, like, "Hey, are you guys home? I need to drop her off because I have to go run to work." Right. And luckily enough, they were available, dropped her off, like ran straight over there. And they're like, "Cool, make sure you don't play any Beyonce, make sure you don't play any Jay-Z." And it's just really for them and their friends. Because it was like Jay was on tour. And so it was just like, just him and his homies.
Yeah.
Right? And so like, yeah, man, I remember getting there, and and like Beyonce being the first one there, and I was like,
Jeez.
I was tempted to just like, if there's something you want to hear, please let me know. Like,
Right.
I'm just gonna try and play to your ear, but you know, I didn't have a lot of time to prep for this, so I was just like, I did
And
want to
she,
ask,
she,
I was leaving her alone,
she was cool.
but
They
yeah,
have-
everybody was mad cool.
Do they have all the gear for you, or you had to bring and set up all their stuff in their house?
No. It was at a venue. It was at a venue, and
Okay.
everything was already set up. I just really had to bring my laptop and just kind of just play. Yeah, but
Wow.
that was wild, just being in that room and kind of, you know, seeing everybody and stuff like that. But it was super like professional. It was super duper cool. I was just trying to like feel them out and like play some stuff.
So you can't play for either one of those, the main artists, but there's other artists there. Are you playing any of their stuff? I feel like there's so much taken off the table. It would be hard to
Well,
play.
it was their work, right? So, but you could play their influences and like related artists and like people that you think they were influenced by. So of course, like I can play hella like Biggie stuff or you know or 90s R&B things and things like that. But yeah, some of the artists that were there actually were like, "Hey, can you play my new shit?" And I would like load it up. They're like, "No, not that shit, the newer shit." I was like, "Fuck, all right, well, you know." Go online, download that shit however I can, and just get it on there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but definitely
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds.
It sounds.
It was definitely super duper stressful, but
Yeah. It's amazing story though. I mean, and you probably can't even tell anybody until like it's so far removed.
yeah,
You can't take any pictures or, you know, yeah.
man, wish I could. No, but it was great, and everybody was super cool. You know what I mean? I had no complaints about that. Yeah. And then another thing I got to do was, you know, I've told this story before, but I met Samantha Ronson because I was working with her on getting her scratches up. And she was like, "What do you play?" I was like, "Oh, like nowhere really." She's like, "Okay. Do you want me to help you with that?" I was like, "Sure, yeah." She's like, "All right, cool. I'll just have you open for me at certain spots, right?" So I would open for her, and then one day she hit me like, "Hey, can you are you free this day?" "Sure, yeah." "Do you want to DJ something for my friend?" "Sure, yeah." And then it ended up being Nicole Richie's wedding.
Wow.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like that shit is like so much pressure. Imagining, of course, because she was with AM too, right? So I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, I really got to be on my A game. I can't like.
That's kind of that's an amazing gig.
Yeah. It was definitely rad, and yeah, what an experience, man. Because I got to see a lot of people that I look up to. You know what I mean? Like figures just there, just like hanging out. I'm like, this is fucking. Somebody pinch me. Like this is fucking cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Is she still DJ? Because I don't really see her name around anymore.
I don't know. I know because she was doing like music stuff too, but I don't know what she's up to these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like everybody kind of just started doing their own thing, and yeah, I'm not quite sure what she's up to now. It's been a while since we hung out, so yeah.
We're gonna set you up for this last thing, but I want to just reiterate that you know, being an entrepreneur and just having your doors open has like gone so far for you, you know, just being like, fuck it, let me try it. And it leads to this amazing thing, you know? So I just always like to say that to the people that are listening, like, don't shut it down, you know, just try and be open to new ideas or just whatever may come.
100%. I mean, even now, there are things where like, man, I wish I could have just opened my mind up when I was a little younger to do things like this, and more doors could have been open, and I could have done more things on this, you know, end of the spectrum or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like always kind of leave yourself open, because and I'm trying to teach this to my stepdaughter too, because she's getting heavy into photography and she's doing a lot of shoots, and I'm just like, look, I know like you like doing this kind of photography, but like you start to put yourself out there, you never know like what doors can open for you if you kind of limit yourself to just one thing, right?
Right.
Well, I'm setting up for our final question. If you just want to set it up, but that was like my little setup for it. But
Yeah, one of the things we like to do, we call it the sauce, and it's just the last bit of the show here, and it's just like any advice to somebody new, or maybe advice you would give your younger self. We'll roll this video real quick, and then we'll come back to you.
All right, sounds good.
The name is Bootsy, baby. And this shout out goes out to Drew and Fuse, all the way from Cincinnati to the LBC Bobble. Yeah, I was told you guys are quite the chefs, and you got a delicious sauce that you cook up. Ooh, and it drips that swagoo and breaks down the recipe. Yeah, and you giving up the pig, cause it's funky. As in good, that is, finger funkin' good. On the one by the power of the one. Yeah, without that, there is none. So get yours and be in tune with the one that loves you. Get it, baby.
Damn, that's legendary.
there he is, Bootsy, wrapping up the show.
Yeah.
What's your advice for the kids or yourself?
Just go out to party, experience like different scenes, because there's something to take away from each scene. Like even if you're like not into like Minimal House, or you're not into like something like that, just go and see what it is about that scene that makes it special, and just kind of take from here and there and get these different influences to add to your own style, to make you stand out from everybody else. You know what I mean? Because everybody might just have this very narrow focus. If you're out there and you're taking from all these different elements, man, you can appeal to so many more people if you figure out what it is, what that special sauce is in those things, and add it to your own recipe.
Yeah.
Booyah!
I love it.
No, I love it.
Tying it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Dude, thank you guys for having me. This was awesome.
Thank
Oh,
you
yeah, it's been
so much
amazing.
for being on. If real quick too, if you want to hit anybody with where they can find you, if there's anything you want to promote, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm most active on Instagram. So if you want to find me on Instagram, it is official DJ Dynamix, OFFICIAL DJ DYNAMIX. And that's it, man. Hit me on there. I'll let you know about like, you know, when my mixes are up on Fit Radio. So if you're subscribed to Fit Radio, you can find me and Fuse on there.
Yeah. I love it.
Or mixes. Yeah, that's it, guys.
Dope.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap up the show for today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you check out the Crate Hackers, because Dynamix is going to be working with them too, and the Evolve DJ School. So, and like I said, Drew and I are on there once a month for the hackathons. If you haven't used the promo code Drew and Fuse Show for DMS, you can check that out. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Peace.
Peace.